Hello, you're listening to this special edition of Not Saying Anything to Paul McCartney, located at maccameri.blogspot.co.uk. maccameri.blogspot.co.uk. Well, hello everyone. I was able to go to the O2 concert last month on the 23rd of May in London. And I was so overwhelmed by not only the show, but then when I got home, I had very little time to sleep because the next day I was off to Florida the next day. So everything was in such a blur. And then I tried to write out something for my blog, and I had some notes when I was in Florida, and just so many things have been going on that I've had no time to really get it all together written out. So I thought it would be nice to possibly take some pictures. Did that little noise was my phone, but anyway, to take some pictures of some things that I had gotten in Florida, and I'm hoping that through this video you can see some of my actual concert pictures. I took about 104 pictures, I think, and I'd say only about 35 or so came out really nice. So I don't think I'm going to put all 35 of those pictures in because some of them are quite similar, but I'm going to give you a few of those pictures, hopefully in this video, and if not in this YouTube video, then on my blog, which you can go to and see some of the photos from that. Yeah, so let's see, what should I talk about first? I was thinking maybe I could just give you the highlights of me being at the O2. There was a big change of plans in that I had actually won tickets the Monday before the concert. So even though I already had a ticket in the first tier, which was a pretty good seat, and I was quite happy about it at the time because I had a fourth row seat in that first tier on one of the sides. Through a contest I had entered, Meet Free Monday, they had given me a pair of tickets to go to that show, and it turns out that I was on the floor in the center, 19 rows back. So as you could tell, I was, well, maybe I'm not showing it, but I don't think it's actually sunk in yet, but it was my very first Paul show being that close for an entire 2.5 hours or 3 hours. It just, it all gels into a very, very long evening. But my friend and I had a very, very good time, and as much as I had so many notes about little things that I liked and maybe a few things that I disliked, because I always like kind of complaining about things and saying, oh, it should have been this way, it should have been that way. But mostly I had a blast. I really can't complain about it. I wish that every concert I've gone to can be, not just Paul McCartney, but any concert that I go to could be so exhilarating. We'll say that would be the word to use. My 5 favorite moments, I think, would have been, or maybe songs would have been, and I'll go through those right now. Maybe I'm Amazed was probably the best vocal performance I had heard, and it was very moving, and I just really got wrapped up into that. Temporary Secretary was completely a surprise, as you may have heard on the internet. My friend and I went crazy. The minute we started hearing the electronic beats, we just lost it. And the visuals along with it were really good, and it sounded good. What else was I saying? Oh, yes. So then this was totally unexpected. I know a lot of people have seen this before, but when you're at these concerts, during Live and Let Die, there's a whole bunch of, and it's, I know that this has gone on for years, but the way that the show is now, I mean, I don't know if it was like this in the past, but once, the choruses go through and the pyrotechnics come up with the flames going, I mean, you could feel the heat from the front of the stage. It was just that overpowering of the wave of heat that comes through every time that the chorus of that song goes there. So I really literally felt like I was going to melt onto I could have been roasted like a marshmallow. It was that hot. But I mean, I really, really enjoyed that concert. I wish that I could go to a Paul McCartney concert every day. But alas, that's not always the case. Trying to think if there's anything else that I could, like I said, it was 19 rows back, and it was my first experience being that close, and it's just all the things that would be good about being able to finally see a show up close and not from 100 miles away, was all there, for the taking. So, I wish that I could sound more enthusiastic about this. It's just that it still hasn't sunk in that I was, able to have such luck and win these wonderful tickets. Anyway, so enough about me going off about that. But I wanted to discuss the latest record collector that had come out for the month of June 2015 has the Beatles on it, and the headline is The Beatles, New In-Depth Research, Hamburg Secrets. I'm not really sure what secrets these are, because all it really is a very in-depth, using those words in depth, a review of the whole history behind the Star Club recordings at the end of 1962, and around the last times that the Beatles had played there, and basically how those recordings were shelved, and so that goes on for pages and pages. So I didn't really learn anything new about the Beatles that hasn't already been published, but it was just a clever way, I guess, to sell the magazine. But I did enjoy reading the article. It just really isn't, I'm not shocked about any of the information in it. So there's supposed to be another edition of, the story is supposed to continue in the next edition. So I think I'm going to have to look out for that. Hopefully it'll be another, cover that's got the Beatles on it. I'm assuming it is, but not necessarily, because it's a continuing story of, what is that White Album song? The continuing story of Bungalow Bill or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, bad joke. Anyway, so going on, yes. While I was in Florida, I also picked up a copy from some relatives, had nicely picked up a copy of the Atlantic magazine from August of 2014. That's got Paul and John on the cover, illustrated. I haven't read the article yet. And then Reader's Digest from this year, in I believe May, has a 2-page article just about Paul, and it's just basically a collection of quotes that he's given over the years. So I think it's enough time. Hopefully you might be able to find that copy. Since it's been 7 minutes of me talking, I'm just trying to think of what else I needed to mention recently that's happened. Yeah, so I'm going to try and, because I made this blog to, like I said, to update everyone and to just kind of put in my photos and from the show if it works out that way, and it's a little pressed for time. But as far as collecting is concerned, I picked up, like I said, I got that magazine. I actually got the record collector while I was waiting at the airport. That was the one thing I needed. I just demanded to get, I would say, right after seeing the concert. More memorabilia things that because I actually forgot about this, but at the show, the T-shirts and the other sorts of things like, I wound up getting a key ring that says it just says Out There on it, and 2015, and then I was able to get a couple of T-shirts. One is just the multicolored shirt with Paul's face on the front, and then the back actually has the actual date of the show, and it's owned that it was the exclusive shirt for that particular day of that concert. So it somewhat says something like the 23rd of London at the O2 on the back. And then the other T-shirt that I got was a Ram T-shirt, which is just the Ram cover, but it's a gray T-shirt, and the picture is in black and white. I've been scaring people with the multicolored T-shirt because I've gotten some comments that Paul looks like a ghost on it, and it's hard to really argue against that it's just the way that they designed the T-shirt to make him look he doesn't look flesh-colored on it, he looks white. So I get teased about that a little bit, but all you can do is ignore it. And But no, I was quite happy with the things that they had on sale, and I've never really had any complaints with the merchandising that they do at the Paul shows.